This shoe with a review of a rare fila shoe that's been released recently. It's called the Fila Neuron 3 Impulse. Neuron is a nice play on words for running shoes. They actually used an all-new foam technology here called uh, the Energized Rush foam. They had the Energized rubber foam in previous running models that didn't prove to be very successful. It was not, it did not blow me away. Fila has been producing a lot of casual shoes, like you see on the back of the Barricades and the Emerge 99. And they were actually retros from the shoes they've had in the 90s. In the 90s, they actually had serious models uh, like Gabriella Sabatini. Forgive me if I got the wrong name wrong. We had Jerry Stackhouse, a bunch of NBA players, Jamar Mashburn, and of course Grant Hill. So they actually had some performance wear, but the retros, they actually tried to use the two-way system, which is their own breed of air and compound mixture cushioning, but they've actually released that for just the first few releases, and then they just went with just full EVA foam, and yet they were soft enough. The EVA foam that Fila used, they know their compound, they know their chemistry for the midsoles, so they were, for casual wear and for light walking or jogging, they provided adequate cushioning. So if they really put their mind to it and come up with a chemical compound or a mixture or some type of a special foam that provides adequate shock absorption and energy return, that's a very pleasant surprise for us who actually like the brand Fila and reminisce about the good old days of the 90s when Fila actually had basketball performance wear that seemed to battle Nike in terms of the popularity charts. So the Neuron 3 Impulse is one of the Neuron series models, and I really love the sleek design. The midsole, it's got a little golf ball-like pattern, lunar, I guess, complexion. So that's a nice little touch. And this little scraped cream pattern is very reminiscent of the Composite series. Design-wise, I think this is a perfect 10 for what we've seen from Fila. They've always been regurgitating or reusing the models from the 90s or the prototypes that they did not release in the 90s. And now they actually went to the drawing board and came up with a brand new design for a running shoe. The midsole, it feels like it's denser, more responsive, more rigid than peak Tai Chi foam, but it feels similar to that. And it's a lot, not a lot, but softer and more mushy than Nike React foam. So it's like an in-betweener between the two. So if you like that balance, you should try this. I'm really enjoying it, and it has got a decent heel to toe drop, but I wish they would have done something to maybe perhaps thin the forefoot out or provide a little bit of an elevation in the heel, because it's not exactly providing a heel dipping discomfort, but it feels somewhat flat and horizontal once you start running and once you start putting your weight on it. So that's just my little complaint. Not too bad, could have been better. For size 9, it weighs about 300 grams, which is pretty lightweight, and it feels a lot lighter when you're actually wearing them and running around in them. The upper material, it feels like some nylon strings crisscross and stitch. This is pretty formidable in terms of providing support, and they do have these add additional fuse materials to provide additional support and containment. So I wish they would have not used an additional inner booty inside along with the tongue, which feels sort of like pretty substantial neoprene and suede material that heats up the shoe a little bit. So they could have skipped that. If you really want to get rid of it, maybe you could scissor it off, but then there's a lot of complex stitching involved all the way throughout the shoe, so not exactly the best advice I would have to offer to someone who purchased the shoe. It fits true to size. If you have a really narrow foot, you might want to go down half a size, but I wouldn't advise that. It doesn't have any crazy dead space in terms of width or the toe box area on top. I like the fact that it's got this little nose or beak that lets you slide your foot in and slide it out comfortably without having to, worry about this folding in. That's always a nice touch. Very in tune with the 21st century shoe design trend. The heel cup is minimal. It's like several layers of fuse, but it's there and it gets the job done. Especially it's a lot thicker and substantial right here in the heel where they should have a heel counter, so that is nice. they do have some pearly material that makes this some of the pattern look even more delectable, attractive than when you see it through the camera. To the naked eye, it looks, the color, the pearly whiteness, it's even more attractive. The lace loop starts at a reasonably low level instead of having them right at the top, like some of the crazy Adidas models where you can't really control the lacing or tightening of your shoe. So this is a nice touch. The shoe is not crazy narrow, so you can expect some stability. Not exactly an outrigger, but it's there to get some of the job done. It does not have a midfoot torsion material, but the foam itself is pretty substantial, and it's got a nice little impact guidance line as well. The rubber outsole, they call it the Ever Grip. It feels very tacky, very soft. You could actually have some, scars with your nails there. So it's going to be nice in terms of landing, pounding, and gripping the floor. But durability-wise, you can't have both worlds. You can't have the most durable rubber outsole when the rubber is very tacky, soft, and malleable, and it bites to the floor. It's a good traction, but yeah, suspect durability, but not too bad. I mean, the grooves are pretty deep, so I wouldn't say it's like a couple of wear and throw away like the Curry 8s. So this is a nice little pleasant surprise from Fila. The insole also is quite interesting. It's definitely EVA, but it feels like PU. So it feels like a light flaky PU or a thick dense EVA. So that's a nice little touch on the part of Fila. Even without the insole, you can actually appreciate how amazing this cushioning is. So looking forward to more from Fila in the near future. Well done, pleasantly surprised. Let's not go back to just selling, retro shoes from the 90s to high school kids because they're affordable. Speaking of affordable, for a shoe that offers state-of-the-art technology, at least from the company, this is their latest cushioning breakthrough, and yet it is not too far in terms of price point with the other casual models. It costs around $80 to $70, so very affordable, and you're definitely getting a lot of bang for your bucks.